Buenos dias, y'all. RGT85 here. Hope everyone is having a great day. But of course, we got some video game news to talk about. A couple stories going on that I want to cover. First time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are well on the way to 420 blaze it thousand subscribers. I don't know. It's kind of a cool number. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. And we're going to start things off with CyberPunk 2077. Now, I have not talked about CyberPunk 2077 in quite a while because I kind of learned a lesson. Like, people only hear what they want to hear. People only hear what they want to hear when it comes to a certain video game, because you might remember before CyberPunk 2077 released on consoles, I said it was a bit suspicious how we never saw any console footage leading up to the release of this game. Everything we saw on the PC. So I was kind of concerned how the console versions would turn out, and people got really mad at me and wanted me to like die and stuff over a video game opinion. You're a weirdo, go seek help. But it was just something I felt with that situation. And then of course the game released, and I mean, I was kind of right, wasn't I? I guess those yellow chairs were just kind of perpetuating something about this game that didn't really exist. There was tons of instances within this game of things that were shown in trailers that were supposed to be in this game that did not exist in this game. There was tons of glitches, tons of bugs, game-breaking bugs within it, and it was nice because I felt justified in my skepticism of the game. And then of course, everyone came back around and was like, I'm sorry. I guess you were right about it. So it's a game that I played. I played it for quite a while. I ended up getting a game-breaking bug in it, and I was just like, no, there's other games to play. But of course, Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't just supposed to release and that be it. We were supposed to get next-gen versions of the game that were included for free. We were supposed to get online multiplayer, new game modes. And while the online multiplayer and new game modes seem like they're never going to come, we did get a surprise launch for the game today, consisting of the next generation version available for free. And looking at this footage, looking at what they did with it, like, it's tough because I feel like I've already seen trailers from Cyberpunk 2077 where things were supposed to go one way, and then of course they went the other way. Now the game does look better. They did, upscale the game for the next generation of consoles. Supposedly there's some AI fixes in the game, some car physics fixes in the game, basically stuff that should have existed in the game on day one. And they reworked the perk tree. There's different sort of things going on with the driving model and stuff like that. Like, okay, that's all cool, that's all fine and dandy, but it's kind of like a situation with me where it's like, you fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I just don't see this as a reason for me to re-download this game. I've already moved on from it. And that's something that I feel like perpetuates the video game industry, because now we like wait for games to become good. We wait for games to be what they initially promised before. And when it's a smaller studio, I guess I can let it go a little bit, but this was supposed to be a huge game. This was supposed to be a complete package. Yellow Chairs told me that this was going to be like one of the greatest games ever. And then half of those yellow chairs never even played the game after it released because they were waiting for this. This game came out in 2020. We're in 2022 now. Now, yes, it came out at the tail end of 2020, but still, it's been over a year since this game released, and we're just now getting the next generation stuff. There's still game modes that were supposed to be in there, like online multiplayer, that, are probably never going to come. I don't necessarily think Cyberpunk 2077 is a bad game. I think it was just overhyped by people within the media because of the fact that CD Projekt Red promised all this stuff. They promised and said that all of this different stuff was going to come to the game, and then it never actually did. When you actually played the final game, it was like, oh, well, this runs pretty poorly on consoles. And yes, there are tons of people who had no problems with the game, and that's fine. But the vast majority of people did have issues when playing this game. The vast majority of issues from this game were things like technical issues, bugs, and whatnot. And it just goes to show you that, as Public Enemy said, don't believe the hype sometimes. And I feel like this was a situation with that. They added in dual sense adaptive triggers and haptic feedback to the PlayStation 5 version of the game. And, it's a shame because I feel like people are going to give this game a pass now. And they're going to be like, oh, this is a cool game. Even though you probably bought it for like $10 when it was on sale, when they were liquidating the copies of the game because nobody was buying it and there was such an outrage and lawsuits and all this sort of stuff surrounding the game. You remember all that stuff? No. Us as gamers, we tend to just sweep stuff under the rug, move on, and when they release a patch for the game several years later, we're like, oh, well, this is great. I don't know. To me, it's like, that's fine. If this is what you've been waiting for, like, that's cool. For me, I will just move on. If a game gets removed off of the PlayStation Network because it was so buggy, it was so problematic, and so many people wanted refunds for the game. I feel like there's a greater, scale happening with this game. Now, I do respect CD Projekt Red for trying to follow through with this, but it's like they kind of had to. This isn't a company that just makes a bunch of different games or has a bunch of subsidiaries. This is their one game. This is their meal ticket that did not meet expectations for a vast majority of gamers. So I don't know. If you're enjoying this next generation patch, if you checked it out, like, that's cool. I'm not even sure if it's quite out yet. I know it's coming out sometime today, but for me, this is a pass. I'll go play something else, something that I know is a decent game, or at least is a game that didn't, wasn't promised to the moon and back with all this crazy stuff and then released with, well, really nothing in it. And finally, a couple days ago on the channel, I sort of changed my tune about the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack because, I mean, it seems like Nintendo's actually doing some stuff here with this. Of course, one of the biggest announcements from the recent Nintendo Direct was the fact that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was getting DLC. No Mario Kart Crossroads Edition or anything like that. Yes, I'm going to run that joke into the ground because I just think it's so bizarre that people were leaking Mario Kart Crossroads when everyone thinks of Crossroads, they think of Bone Thugs and Harmony. See you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. See you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. And I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody. Like, no, idiots. And then, like, nobody goes and questions, well, what happened to Mario Kart Crossroads? Because the leakers will just be like, oh, well, things change. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's a great game. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. I love the game because, Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was good. It was really good, honestly. But the lack of a battle mode kind of hurt the game. And the fact that they put a battle mode in this game just made it so much better for so many people. It really made it worth repurchasing the game. Well, this DLC is going to be trickled out over the next, almost 2 years when you look at it, because it's going to end in 2023. One of the things about this DLC is the fact that it will be $25 for the expansion pack, or if you're a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack member, meaning, you have the service that's $50 a year, you actually get this included with your service. So I like that. If you're adding in DLC to games like Animal Crossing, while it didn't hit with me, that's a good thing. That's adding in value. Doing it with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is adding in a good value because now I don't have to worry about buying this. Well, when it comes to online multiplayer games and adding in things like new courses or new maps or something like that, one thing that ends up happening is you sort of stagnate the user base, because if people decide not to upgrade to the service or they decide not to buy the DLC pack, then they're kind of left out in the cold and they're not able to play the new maps and things of that nature. I remember that was a big problem with like Call of Duty and stuff, old Halo games. If the new maps came out and you did not have the new maps, you didn't buy them, you would just get kicked out of the game and you would have to research for a game. Well, Nintendo's actually doing something very interesting with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC in the fact that you technically don't have to buy the DLC or get it via the expansion pack in order to play these new tracks. Now, if you go over to Nintendo's website, it says the following. Courses from Wave 1 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass can be played from March 18th locally or online in Friends and Rivals races, even if only one player owns the Booster Course Pass or has access to it as a part of a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership. From March 22nd, courses from Wave 1 will also appear in random selection when playing global or regional races with anyone online. So essentially what that means is if you're playing a game online and one of the new courses that hasn't been added into the game, that isn't available in the core game, I should say, is the course that pops up, you could still play it. Now, granted, you can't select that course if you're doing your own races or anything like that, but if someone chooses that course, or that's the course that is chosen when you're playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe online, you could still play that even if you don't own that. And like, that's actually cool. I don't know if that's just because Nintendo's online is just, kind of ass backwards and they don't really focus on it all that much. So it's kind of an oversight on their part in order to get, I don't know, maybe they just didn't think of it. But obviously they kind of did think of it if they're saying it within the terms and conditions of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. So basically you don't have to buy the courses in order to play the courses. If they come up in a random game or someone that you're playing with locally has the courses and that's the course that they choose, then you could still play the course. You're not locked out of it. And That's a very good move. That's actually very cool. And like I said, that's something you don't really see that often, especially in online multiplayer experiences. If you don't have that map, you didn't buy that new map, you didn't buy that new course, well, tough shit, pal. You are not playing that course. But it looks like Nintendo is going in a different way with this. And once again, this is just showing that maybe Nintendo is doing stuff with their online expansion stuff. Maybe they are trying to add in value, and things like this I think are a big deal. And you know, as much as I scrutinize them for the online stuff of the service and you know some of the shortcomings of it, I do have to give praise where praise is due, and I really think praise is due with this situation. So if you don't feel like buying those courses, maybe you just want to check them out, you could just simply jump into an online game and maybe you'll be able to play those courses for free. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know what you think of everything in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. 420 blaze it. Like, comment, all that stuff. I don't know. I had a brain fart there. Also, the Knicks suck. It's not even the Knicks that sucked, it's Tom Thibodeau. You need to get the hell out of the Knicks organization. You are the stupidest coach I've ever seen in the world, and you're not good at your job. And when you're not good at your job, you probably shouldn't be sticking around. Like, God, Jesus Lord. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.